But diamond typically set in sterling silver isn't the best quality diamond. Usually, for the most part,
I found a stack of records in my attic today, an Elvis picture disc and Kenny's big old hay. Put 'em up on eBay for the day was done. Watch the bids roll in till the morning sun.
I had a slight little cough there. I had to cut the video really quick. It started bubbling up on me. But like I was saying, they wanted additional money for a shipping label, and I don't think I could send more money than what they actually paid for the item. I've never done that before. Maybe I could PayPal them, but no, I wasn't about to do that. So they were requesting the full refund and additional money for the shipping, and they would not open up a return request. So I'm like, oh, great. I'm like, oh, man, I gotta, oh. I wish I would have blocked them from the beginning. Or not even blocked them because they already made a purchase. Blocked them after that from buying any more. Just stopped them at one. But then that would have caused probably an angry customer at that point. So, yeah, kind of in one of those, stuck between a rock and a hard place situations. So either way, I'm like, you know what? If you don't want them, and you didn't open the package, just hit, return to sender or something like that, or refuse package, right? And they said, no, I don't want to do that. I really want a full refund on this item. I'm like, well, then you're gonna have to. Then I sent the message back. You're gonna have to return the item. Open up a return request for eBay, and then once I get it back, you'll get a full refund. Piece of cake, right? I have free returns. No big deal, right? And those are the other types of buyers I don't mind, really, is if the ones that just they don't like the item, or something happened to the item or whatever. They open I mean, depending on what they select, if they didn't want the item, they select I don't want the item. Don't select item not working or undescribed, because in my opinion, and I do a very good job of making sure everything is properly identified, described, pictured, yada yada yada. So that should never be the case with any of my items. Never. Of course, you have to take my word for it. But so if they open up a return, no questions asked, whatever, just do it. No big deal. But this person appeared, in my opinion, that they still wanted the items. They wanted all their money back. They basically just wanted it for free, is what they wanted. And then they went ahead and, without, angrily sounding, threatening to kind of affect my account by issuing all these returns. It was 4 total orders, but the 4 total, separate orders that they were. Well, they weren't separate; they were combined. But 4 separate things, right? 4 separate items, 4 separate listings is what they purchased. And so I said, no, we need to, go through the normal process, and then I'll show a full refund. Once I get it back, I'll send you a refund. No big deal. I'll send you a refund. We don't have to go through this whole dance, back and forth. Just send it back. I just send it back. I really don't care what you want to do or not. Just send it back. There's a whole process to do it. So didn't hear anything back from them. And then today they requested the returns on all those items. So we'll see when we get back. And many people, this will lead me a little bit into the whole kind of, just thinking and bettering yourself, yada yada yada, philosophy type thing. It's been on my mind because I've been, I talked to a couple videos ago about that book I read, and I quote, I'm into another book now. What was I going to say? Lost my train of thought already. Lost my train of thought on that. So either way, we'll see when we get back. Oh, that's right. I went ahead and I went into eBay. And this kind of leads into my next part of the discussion is, no need to get mad. No need to get, stressed out about these things. I know a lot of people do. And I know a lot of eBayers, resellers, people that sell online, e-commerce people, you'll hear them online you'll hear them on YouTube or wherever they on Instagram, and they'll be like, oh my God, I have this buyer and and I sent them this, nasty message and I'm like, it's really, really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. And if you have sold on eBay for very long, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these people that rant about these, buyers or whatever, and, they get all angry about it, they get very emotional about it. I think they, according to their videos, and according to their reputation, they've been selling for a long time. So I mean, they should be kind of used to this. This is nothing new, It's nothing new. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It just is what it is. It's a part of the operating a business. It's a part of operating, especially retail. So and what I want to talk about is not really getting so emotional about it, not really getting so mad, not letting it consume you is the right word I'm looking for. And a lot of what, this is where we go off reseller topic, more into thought and philosophy and stuff like that, is a lot of what this world is trying to do. And for those of you who know, I come from primarily a Christian background, but I've studied a lot of different religions, beliefs, thoughts, the philosophers, and all that. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but my, the one person from history, philosopher that I've really studied in deep detail and learned from a lot is Plotinus, and considered a Neoplatonist, but in from what I've read and studied about his life and his knowledge, lived a very similar life to Jesus from the Bible. He's not a Christian, and that was very, very much in its Christian's infancy. Another person I've studied from early Christianity is Origen of Alexandria. Another person who was later deemed a heretic, which a lot of people, back in that day were. And I think for men, you'd be imprisoned. I don't know if it was a death sentence, but pretty close to a death sentence, I believe. May have been a death sentence for some. I do know it was, I think, if a woman didn't recant, it was a death sentence for her. And I believe some of them were burned at the stake. Someone who I also studied is Marguerite, a French nun, Marguerite Perrot. I believe I'm pronouncing the last name correctly. And she was actually burned at the stake for her, going against the Catholic Christian Church at that time, which is like, don't say anything bad about Catholics back then. So a few there that I really, studied in deep detail and have helped me grow to where I am today. But not being consumed with things of this world, and it's perfectly fine to really enjoy things. I enjoy a lot of things. I enjoy coffee. I remember this coffee. This is the Vulcan. It sounds like Vulcan to me. I pronounce it Vulcan, like from Star Trek. It's actually linked down below in the description. I do get a small kickback from that. It's linked. It takes you to Amazon, and you can buy it off Amazon. I get it from Whole Foods, so therefore you can get it on Amazon. I mean, if you have a Whole Foods next to you, go look for it. It's a Vulcan, Volcan. Really, really good coffee. One of my favorites. I enjoy coffee. I enjoy whiskey. I enjoy computer stuff, toys. There's a lot of stuff I enjoy from this world. A lot of stuff I enjoy, but I don't ever let it consume me. And what I think the best way to describe that, the consuming, being consumed with things, is how you react when certain situations arise, such as a bad buyer. What is your reaction to that bad buyer? Did I say I sent messages to eBay on this person? So I did report them. I went in there and I reported them. Like, all right, yeah. It's not like I went in there with malicious intent or anything like that. They clearly said that they would affect my seller status. So I just stated everything, and eBay will be able to go into those messages and I'll let karma deal with it. And I'll move on to do more listings, find more great items, sell more great things, find more customers, encounter more bad customers. It's gonna happen. Nothing we can do. We can't avoid it. But I think to really, really be able to identify those people, or to be able to identify yourself as being consumed by certain things, is to look at your reaction to, if, let's say, something is taken away from you. Let's say your car is stolen. What is your What is your reaction to that? Yeah, it's okay to be mad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be, to be frustrated. But then you don't let that carry on for the rest of your life, or for, yeah, like I've always talked about, yeah, I get mad, I get angry from times. I consider myself, and again, you have to take my word for it, a very enlightened person. And um and with that enlightenment comes great calmness, contentness, and, but yeah, I do get mad. I do feel the extremes of different emotions from time to time, but then I'm able to return back to baseline very, very quickly. And if you let something just destroy you, and you let something just, totally take over your life, an anger, a frustration, or something, and then it starts to really affect your, just the way how you interact with other people. You're like, oh man, I have a bad morning because of this. I have another bad morning. It's a bad Friday because of this. A bad weekend because of this. Then now you're starting to show signs that this has really, really consumed you. And you want to try to break out of that. You want to be able to break out of that. Why? Because you're going to be a negative person. You're going to be negative, and you're going to bring people down with you. Like those people we call Debbie Downers, or downers, or people that, like, oh man, I like hanging out with them, but man, they're always like, just, they're always like talking, they're always, well, I was going to say gossiping, but gossiping's kind of, sometimes the gossip is, sometimes, like, yeah, majority of the time gossip is wrong, but, sometimes that wrong gossip is pretty entertaining. But could lead you just to be constantly talking negative, and that'll have an effect on you. That will bring you down, or that'll be like, man, that'll push people away, people that not wanting to hang out with you, and then that could cause more issues as well too. That could cause you to be more, could potentially send you into a depressive state. So, trying to not be consumed with things, from this world. And you can easily identify if you are consumed with certain things by your reaction to perhaps when it is taken away. If or another good instance, because we're big Disneyland fans. We're huge Disney fans. We're huge I was gonna say theme parks, but we really only like Disneyland. We're huge Disney theme park. We don't really go. We have a theme park here, Great America. I used to go when I was a kid, but don't really go now, because it's mostly roller coasters. And nowadays, my what do you call it? Motion sickness won't allow me to enjoy that anymore. So but when you're in Disneyland, and I see this all the time, when someone jumps and cuts in line. Oh man, everybody, especially after you've been waiting for a couple hours. Oh man, you've committed the cardinal sin. You're going to hell if you do that. Especially if you're at the Midway Mania ride, which is always usually like an hour and a half, 2 hour wait, or you're at what is it, like Space Mountain or something, and you jump in front. Oh, you've just unleashed the beast in a lot of people, and you're gonna tell. Obviously, you're kind of consumed by that moment that you're in right now. You've been waiting there for so long. You're at Disneyland. You want to enjoy this ride. You want your family to enjoy this ride, but I've seen it many times. It is what it is. It's not gonna end the world here. So, a good way to tell if you are, being consumed by things of this world. And, the world is it's designed to consume you. I talk so much about, I've talked about, death and moving on, and definitely looking forward to that. And, which is what, a lot of, religions, preach, about the end, and looking forward to moving on, and enjoying a great life. If you believe you're gonna have a mansion, then maybe you'll have a mansion. Who knows? That's definitely not what I believe. I don't believe I'm gonna have a mansion. What's the point of I talked about this before in many videos. What's the point of having a mansion and all this other stuff in eternity, in heaven? Matter of fact, one thing I've not mentioned is what I am really looking forward to, and I'm really, really looking forward to this when it's time to finally for me to move on. Is really, and you'd be surprised. You'd probably be surprised at what my response or what my answer is going to be, and that is never having to use the bathroom again. I will be so happy when I never have to use the bathroom again. You can keep your streets of gold, you can keep your pearly gates, you can keep your mansion, whatever. I never want to have to go to a bathroom again. Along with knowing everything out there that is, to know in the world, in the universe, I should say, knowing all the mysteries of the universe. But then again, isn't the the fun in the journey, trying to discover those? Once you know everything, is it like, are you just bored at that point? I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Otherwise, try not to be consumed by certain things, especially in reselling. Don't be consumed by these people who, just based on this person's thing, they really want to, based on the responses to me, they really want to get, something for free, and they really are trying to take advantage of people. And okay, but yeah, there's all kinds of people out there, and you're going to encounter all kinds of different walks of life, and you can't avoid them. Just like friends, I have certain friends that are really, I have friends that I hang out with, and I have certain friends who, I hang out with, and like I can only take them in certain doses. I've talked about that friend who always, he wasn't, he acts, for lack of better words, acts ghetto, like he's from the ghetto, but he ain't from the ghetto. He's from Los Gatos, California. And I'm like, but acts ghetto, talks ghetto, sounds ghetto. I'm like, dude, come on, you're not. Why do you act like that? Just act normal. Maybe that is his normal. I don't, that's become his normal, but it's kind of annoying. You can only take that in small. I can only take that in small doses. I grew up in the ghetto. I know what it's like. I know what people don't act like that. That's in the movies. That's where that's from. You're acting like from the movie. You see one too many movies about the ghetto, and you think that's how it is. You didn't grow up there. You don't know. So then you have those friends that always skip out on bills all the time. And then I remember one time we were up in rented this big one thing you learn about your friends is when you start, staying with them, like overnight, a weekend, a week, you try again, and you're like, man, dang, why did I even do this, dude? You're lazy. You're dirty. We spent a week over in Tahoe one time, rented a big cabin, and I was like, I rented the big cabin, mind you. And we're like, all right, big snowboarding trip and everything. I'm like, dude, we got to take out the trash. We can't, trash this place. We got to keep it up, right? Because my name's on the thing, right? We can't trash. And all these people are just leaving trash everywhere, leaving their food everywhere. I'm like, dude, we got to put out the trash cans. Come on. And everything's frozen, right? Because it's, middle of winter. Everything's frozen. And I'm like, dude, we got to get these trash cans out, get some help. And I was getting pissed. I let it completely consume me. Of course, by the time, the evening was, we were all having a great time already. But I was like, come on, help me out a little bit, guys. At that point, you really learn a lot about your friends. It's like, oh, God. All right, we're never moving in together. I'll tell you that. Right? Even though when you're young, you're like, oh, yeah, we're going to move in together. We're going to get an apartment together. We're all going to hang out. Let's buy a house together. We're going to have our own separate rooms. Nah. I'll tell you right now. Nah. Okay, let's move on. Let's get to the what's sold here. Like I said, I have a few more what's sold than normal, but we sold a really cool sterling silver double row tennis bracelet. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, that's amazing. First of all, it's not diamond. Cubic zirconium. If it was diamond, you would definitely get a little bit more. But diamond typically set in sterling silver isn't the best quality diamond. Usually, for the most part, like diamonds, you go to the mall, you buy a diamond. Yes, they charge a lot of money for them, but they're not really, really worth it. They're they charge a lot. The diamonds that are valuable, that have a lot of value, are those ones that are certified. If they're certified, they come with certifications and everything, they are going to be worth it. The diamonds you go to the mall and buy really aren't really worth too much. And so even if this was full of diamonds, it would definitely have, a better value, but it's cubic zirconium. Let's see. Let me do this hold on 1 second really quick. I gotta answer a message really quick. Hold on. Okay. And so like I've mentioned in previous videos as well too, sterling silver, yes, it does have a value, but the reality is a gram of, and we're talking grams here because it's not a full ounce of silver. We're talking an ounce. If we're talking ounces, then we're talking about quite a bit of money here. And by quite a bit of money in silver, I don't know what spot price is today, but maybe about $35-ish or somewhere right around there for an ounce. So we're talking grams here. We're talking about jewelry mostly, most of the time. And, 1 gram of silver, pure silver, not even sterling silver, pure silver, is a little over $1. It's not very much. So, you get 2 or 3 grams of sterling silver, it's really maybe around $3 or so. So you're really, really looking towards the craftsmanship, especially if it has a name behind it. If it has a designer name like Tiffany, I just watched a video on David Yurman on it. Now we're talking, some good money here for sterling silver. Otherwise, if it's just plain marked sterling silver, you're trying to, hopefully to get more money, you're really, really looking at the design of this and trying to sell that design. And this is really cool. The cool classic design, double row, cubic zirconium, so it is sparkly. And vintage, and we're looking at vintage as well too. I didn't put vintage in the title, but it is vintage in the item specifics, and it sold for $30, $30, and $6.02 is what they paid in shipping. So really, really cool piece, really, really nice. Technically, the cubic zirconium, really, really doesn't have too much value. And then the silver in this, I don't know, maybe a few bucks, maybe $3 or $4 in sterling. That's it. Technically, if I were to take it just for its, raw value, we're looking at a few bucks. That's it. But we're selling the design. We're selling the design of this item. Just like fashion jewelry. Like if you go to the Target or something, you buy fashion jewelry, there's really technically no value on it as far as what it's made out of. You're really buying the design. You're buying because you like the design. That's what it is. Okay, let's move on here. Next, what direction am I going in? Okay, hobo. I talk about hobo all the time. You see me pick up hobo in my thrifting videos. This is a really cool, it's the Lauren wallet. And really cool because typically I don't find these with designs on them. But this one, as you can see, the fleur de lis, leather, nice green, a very cool antique brass. But it opens the main thing, opens up, and then it has 2 pockets on either side as well too. Just a really cool, nice wallet. Definitely be on the lookout for hobo. I find it all the time, flies under the radar. Sold for $41.06 for this wallet. $8.71 what they paid in shipping. Really cool. Look out for hobo. It sells really well. It's usually just unassuming. The leather quality, you can identify it by the leather quality if you know the leather quality. But open it up. It usually has a pretty intricate design on the inside, on the fabric, on the lining, but it'll say hobo on it. Looking for my mouse. Okay, Kath Kiddison. I talk about Kath Kiddison all the time because it sells really well. And I found this really cool little kid's backpack, or a small backpack. It could be for anybody, really. Sold for $20, $7.10 what they paid in shipping. And this is just super light, just a really light, really cool little backpack. Obviously, you can see the keywords I use there: school bag, toddler, travel, book bag, floral, of course, because it's a nice floral pattern. It is nice and clean. Really good name to look out for. Definitely has sold better in the past for more monies, but it still does pretty well. And if you can get it for, it's a brand that flies under the radar as well too, just like hobo. So if you can get it for sub $5, pretty cool. They do tote bags and stuff like that. So definitely look out for the name. And but it is definitely coming down in value. It's not going for as much as it used to. So definitely be aware of that. Okay, it's just some pretty generic beer pitchers. Found these at the bins. The only place I would probably pay from is at the bins. I really wouldn't pay too much for these at all. But I do know they do sell. I know they sell because I've sold many things like this before. Just plastic beer pitchers. Obviously, they have to have some sort of a logo on it. Like Coors Light in this instance. And we sold them for $25. I think it was $25. Flipping through my pictures. $25. $13.46 is what they paid in shipping. And I got more of these too. I actually have, I think, Blue Moon ones as well. So pretty cool. If you can find them, cheap. Don't pay too much for these things. You're going to have to bundle them up. You're not going to be able to sell individually. They don't really go for that much. So you're going to need to find them in big bundles. So really cool. They do sell. They're just cheap plastic beer pitchers. That's it. But they sell. People still buy them and look for them. Okay, I found this over at Savers, brand new in the package. Now I have to put this out there. This has to be brand new in the package. Can't be used. You can still get some good money for it used. You're not going to get anywhere near, what it costs. You probably maybe $15, maybe it's between $10 and $15 used. But the fact that it's brand new means you get. Oh man, I didn't take a picture of it. Means you will get $51.03. $6.82 is what they paid in shipping. But look out for these mice. Not necessarily all of them go for this price, especially in these little smaller, more geared towards laptop type of mice. I've looked up Logitech one time. It was a smaller one, but I think Logitech, there's just so many Logitech ones out there that, like I've said, supply and demand. There's just too much supply of those, so there's not that much demand for it then, because there's plenty of supply. But these Microsoft ones do tend to do better. Like I said, again, in brand new, they still sell used. Brand new, obviously, is the way to go. Is what you'd like to find. It's gonna be hard because they don't make this anymore. So I mean, not that they don't make these mice. They don't make mice, but they don't make this exact like SKU number of mouse or model number of mouse. But really cool. Microsoft, brand new. $51, over $50. Oh, am I saying the packaging? Shoot, this goes in a padded poly bag, standard padded poly bag. The Coors Light ones went in a 12 by 10 by 10. And that was just because it was easy. I probably could have, shaped another box for it, but it was just easy for me to throw it in one of those. Kath Kiddison backpack went in a padded poly bag. Same with the Hobo wallet, padded poly bag. And a small padded poly bag for the sterling silver tennis bracelet. Of course, everything does get an additional wrap of bubble wrap to help make sure it is safe and secure on its trip to wherever it's going, to the customer. Now, the next one is a really cool item and something that definitely flies under the radar. This was sitting over at Savers. What it sell for, you might be shocked, $49.75. Don't forget the extra penny. $49.75, $11.71 what they paid in shipping. Padded poly bag, large padded poly bag is what this went into. But balanced ledger sheets, so just a way to keep track of your, what you're selling maybe. Had all the different columns there for it. It would go for more, closer to $80 if I had the actual pad that this goes into. But it's brand new. That's the thing too as well. Brand new. It's gotta be brand new. You can't sell individual sheets. It might not get anything for that. But brand new, almost $50, nearly $50 for just, sheets of paper that go inside a binder. It's really cool. This stuff that people pass up all the time. I don't know how long this was sitting on the shelves, but it was passed up by everybody that was there. Resellers, everybody, people, with advanced knowledge, pass it right up. They got to stop, look at this stuff, and, just how do I know this sells? Just based on my history of selling things, based on other items I've sold similar to this. I know that, I need to take a look at this really quick, or I'm going to put it in the cart, thinking it's probably going to be about $15-ish. I think it was like $2, I think it was. But it's like 2 and a 15, not bad. But then finding out it could go close to $50, I'm like, all right, perfect, even better. So, boom. There you go. Wilson Jones, balanced ledger sheets. Brand new. Now, we sell all kinds of purses, Coach purses, Fossil purses. But what do you know about Davy Debs? A vintage Native American style suede leather. Suede is leather, mind you. Don't forget. Or I think I don't. Maybe I've said that before. Maybe I haven't. But suede is still leather. Suede isn't different from leather. It's still leather. So it's a suede, but just suede has that texture, right? If I'm mistaken, it's the inside part. But really, really cool. Davy Debs sold for $29.89. Went in a padded poly bag. $6.30 is what they paid in shipping. But just a really cool. You probably could have used Southwestern in this, which is another great keyword. Definitely had a Native American vibe to it. Nice reddish brown. I was going to use brown, but I kind of wanted to use the other red keyword in there as well too. So red brown type of bag. I definitely took a lot of pictures. There's a lot more pictures in there. I don't just post one picture. You know, there's multiple pictures of these items that I'm showing you, but definitely something to look out for, and definitely a purse that could go for right around the $30-ish range, and something, again, that flies under the radar. They're usually priced really low because, you know, people don't know. Nobody knows that these things resell for really well. You should know that these things resell really well now that I am telling you that these things resell really well. So one of the reasons why I'm here showing you and spreading the word and, you know, sharing my knowledge on all these things, all things reselling. My face is getting cut off, isn't it? It's weird. And this should be the last item. I believe I even threw this in the thumbnail of a video. These Sony headphones. Still keep your eye out for, you know, plug-in headphones. They still sell. They still sell really, really well. I know even the ones that don't do really well are the USB-C ones. Those ones, they're okay. I mean, if you can find a brand new, really, really cheap. But these vintage ones, still with the 3.5mm plugs, stereo plugs, still do incredibly well. Sold for $19. It was like $20. $19.93, $6.04 what they paid in shipping. Small padded poly bag is what this went into. And with these, you definitely want to look out for the major name brands like Sony. I wouldn't go, you know, buying, you know, any old brands, knockoff brands. You got to stick to the major name brands with these types of headphones. And even the little earbud ones do really well, like the Bose plug-in earbuds. They do really well too. So definitely something to keep your eye out for. They still sell really well, and easy to picture, easy to ship, easy to store. Piece of cake all the way around. So these were a bin's find, so I didn't pay that much for them because they don't weigh that much. So really, really cool. Okay, I gotta get this video up and running. That's the end of it. Thanks for watching. Like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. See you in the next one. I rushed through that. Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.